Hey guys, TrainDC here, coming at you with another video. We have an absolutely massive leak on our hands for Pokemon Winds and Waves. Like, this is incredible. I cannot believe what I'm reading. And once I tell it to you, you're probably not going to believe it either because it sounds odd. It doesn't sound like it's true, but apparently it is. So without further ado, let's get into this. So this is all coming from Central Leaks, who's getting this information from a user named Kerwash Ibamast on Twitter. Let's get into this. So as Central was saying, this is a massive Pokemon leak as the games are going to have the highest amount of new Pokemon ever in a Pokemon game. And the number of new Pokemon slash forms in this game is around 300. Now this includes new forms for the new battle mechanics such as Megas and Gigantamax, as we're going to get special weather forms, but still 300 Pokemon is absolutely insane. When I read this, I said there is no way that this is true because this is something we've never had before in the Pokemon franchise. The most we've ever had before in a brand new generation is 156 from Generation 5. So there's no way we're getting 300 new Pokemon in this game, right? So Central put out another tweet saying, "Do you realize how ridiculous the claim of 300 new Pokemon on a game sounds?" And I'm going to paraphrase it here, but they're saying, yeah, we know it's crazy. We were hesitant about posting this. However, since the information came to light, we have been able to verify with other sources of ours that this is true. There is going to be a high number of Pokemon in this new game. Going on to say even further after this, we're upgrading the credibility on this rumor after multiple sources have now come forward supporting the claim. We think the leak about the new number of Pokemon is very likely real. It's happening. Around 300. I repeat, 300 new Pokemon are planned. Absolutely insane. I'll give you my brief thoughts on this very quickly because there's more to this leak than that. I think it's insane having 300 Pokemon. Immediately, what comes to mind is I find it too large of a number. Like, I don't believe it to be true, but apparently it is according to multiple sources now. One concern, if you will, would be, okay, the last time we had a large Pokedex number was for Black and White. People criticize Black and White as being the worst Pokedex for any given region because there's just too much in it. The designs aren't the greatest in a lot of cases. And are we going to have another situation on our hands with this game, with Winds and Waves, given that there are going to be 300 new Pokemon in the game and forms? So look, we might have a contingent of regional forms, which we're going to get into in a little bit. We might have a contingent of these weather forms as well, which we're going to get into in a little bit as well, as we know some specifics there. So maybe the amount of new Pokemon's down to like 240 to 250 with all the new forms taken out, but that's still a lot of new Pokemon. That's 100 plus more than we've ever had before. So yeah, that is a concern. It's a valid concern. I have hope and faith in the Pokemon Company that they will design some awesome designs here. But yeah, 300 sounds like an outrageous number. I will say that there has been talks around here saying that some of these will be held for the DLC. So maybe we have like 200 Pokemon in the base game, then the two DLCs we get 50 and 50 each. That's more plausible, I guess, because if you take all the forms out, maybe it's around 140 to 150 new Pokemon, which again, we've seen that before, but nevertheless, the number 300 is insane. Now we have the next part of this leak, more potential Winds and Waves leaks. The first part's from Billy, and it says it's been described as being an MMO light with a lot of focus on communication features, being Pokemon Winds and Waves, that is. It's going to follow a similar structure to Scarlet and Violet, having 3 main stories. I think we all knew that already, given the other leaks we've had, and you know that all 18 types are going to be represented as boss fights in the game. The idea for this generation is to be the most personable yet. Remember all the new Pokemon, to know them, to feel closer to them. I'm not really sure how to exactly interpret that. Like, is there going to be a new Pokemon and me-like feature? Are they going to give us a new way to interact with our Pokemon like we never been able to before? Because I remember all the new Pokemon already. I know of them. I don't exactly feel close to them because they're not real, but like, what does that mean exactly? I don't know. Even if the game scope already got reduced a lot since the initial pitch, it's still going to be a very ambitious title, which we've been hearing from a lot of people that this is going to be the most ambitious Pokemon game yet, which we're going to get into here because the next one's from Kawashi or Kawash, whatever the person's name is here. And they are first saying that Salandit will be a Pokemon to get a regional evolution that's going to be a poison and dragon type. So regional evolution, I'm presuming means to a regional variant. So we're going to have a regional variant of Salandit that's going to get a brand new evolution. That's what I'm assuming here. However, Salandit's a Pokemon that I feel like we could just get a new evolution to a cross-gen evolution, a poison dragon type maybe being the male evolution for Salandit, because we know Salazzle is the evolution to Salandit and it's only a female evolution. So maybe we have a male evolution that's a poison dragon type. I don't really think we need a regional Salandit to introduce a new evolution, but that's what it sounds like we're getting here. And to tie this into another leak we covered a while back, but there was a leak a while ago saying that one of the gym leaders was going to have a poison dragon type new Pokemon as its signature Pokemon. I wonder if that's Salandit's evolution now. The next piece of information that we have, which I've seen floating around a little bit on the internet over the past few days, is Lieutenant Surge's son will be in the game and he has his dad's Raichu, which is really interesting. So I don't know how this is going to tie into Kanto then, how the timeline of things has progressed here. The fact that Lieutenant Surge's son's in the game, how old is his son? He has his dad's Raichu, so maybe Lieutenant Surge is retired now. Who knows, but that's an interesting detail we have here. Another piece of information we have is that voice acting was planned for the game, but it could have been cut as it's not present in the current builds anymore. I gotta say, you know, I was planning a video talking about whether or not Pokemon Winds and Waves will have voice acting. It needs to have voice acting. I get that it was planned. I get this is an ambitious title, but at the very least, this needs to be in the game. Like, we cannot have another Pokemon game without voice acting being there. Like, maybe I'll go in depth on that topic in another video because there's still a lot more for us to go over here, but this game needs voice acting, plain and simple, so it better be there. Online MMO light features will be the biggest technical leap in Gen 10, so corroborating what Billy said before, some of the Pokemon that currently have placeholders for special weather forms in the game are Arcanine, Lucario, Kecleon, Pikachu, and 7 new Generation 10 Pokemon. Note that things can change in the final game. Remember, Mega Jinx never happened. So apparently we know of 13 of these special weather forms in the game. I'm very curious that we know of 13 of them. How many of them are there? Are there going to be 50 of them? Are there 20? Are there 30, 40, somewhere in between? Who knows? The thing I'm not in love with here is that we're getting 7 new Gen 10 Pokemon that we know of, at least getting this special weather form, because I felt like with Gigantamax Pokemon, some of the Pokemon were kind of hamstrung by having it in Generation 8. Like, for example, Centiskorch could have gotten a brand new evolution, but it got a Gigantamax instead. And I don't want them to basically limit certain Pokemon from getting evolutions by doing a transformation, a special weather variant instead. Like Arcanine getting one, it's a fan favorite Pokemon. Okay, same with Lucario. It just got another Mega, so it's getting another new form. Pikachu's an obvious one. We knew this was going to happen. We've seen the Pikachu, you know, Majin, whatever it's going to be called, special weather form in the leaks from before. And Kecleon, which is a really interesting one. Kecleon's a very random Pokemon to be getting this, but I think it makes sense given that it is a chameleon and maybe it just changes to the weather, changes to the different environment effects that are on the field at a given point. Who knows? A lot of the development team has already moved on from Pokemon Winds and Waves to the DLC, which is codenamed Zeus. The codename for Winds and Waves is Gaia, which would make me think that this game is a lot farther along, which obviously it is. It's been being worked on for a long time, but the fact that the development team's moving off of the game for the DLC means that, hey, we don't need you guys anymore. We're pretty far along, so we're just polishing at this point. You can go work on the DLC. And the last piece of information we have here is that Winds and Waves will be a very ambitious game. The delay to 2027 was just due to needing more time to finish the game, which again is corroborating what Billy said here, that it's going to be a very ambitious game. So overall, absolutely insane information. Like, Winds and Waves seems like it's going to be the most ambitious Pokemon title ever, and we could kind of get that from the trailer, right? The visuals of the game looks great. Like, graphically speaking, this looks like the greatest Pokemon graphics we've ever had before. So the fact of the matter is here that this is going to be an ambitious title. I think we all know that going into this game, but the details we're getting here, that we're going to get 300 brand new Pokemon, is insane. Like, that's crazy. Again, some of them are going to be forms, which would include like a regional Salandit if we get other regional variants in the game. It would include like Mega Evolutions, for example. If Mega Evolution happened to return, it's going to include these new special weather forms. So maybe the number of brand new Pokemon is going to be closer to 220. Maybe it's going to be closer to 230, 240, 250, whatever the case may be. Still insane. Like, we've never had that big of a generation before, which in turn makes me wonder how long this generation is going to be around for. Because if this game is introducing 300 new Pokemon, does that mean we're going to see a 5 to 6 year hiatus for Generation 11? Because there is a lot being put into this game. 300 new Pokemon, even if half of those are saved for the DLC, which, let's be real, they're not going to save half of them. Let's say a third of them are saved for the DLC. That's still insane to have 200 new Pokemon slash forms in a base game, although it's not as insane as 300. Because, for example, if you take a game like X and Y, the base X and Y had 69 new Pokemon in it, but if you add up the Mega Evolutions that were in there, it's closer to 100. If you add up all the Pokemon, the 72, including the 3 Mythicals, plus the 48 Megas we got in X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, that totals 120 Pokemon forms slash new Pokemon, right? So not as insane of a number if we take everything together, but still it's pretty insane because we haven't had something like this ever. Like, for example, if you take Generation 9 between the brand new Mega Evolutions we got in ZA, between the regional variants, plus Terrapagos and the terrestrial forms for Ogerpon, it's approximately 172 new Pokemon slash forms in Generation 9. So again, it's not as insane of a number as you're thinking it is right off the bat. If we take, let's say, the next Legends game and put that all together, we're getting close to 300 then, right? So yes, it's still an insane number. 300 is still absolutely insane, but we've had close to 200 before. So it might not be as insane as we were initially thinking, but still 300 Pokemon is absolutely insane here. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the fact that Pokemon Winds and Waves is apparently going to have 300 new Pokemon slash forms, including weather forms that will be like Mega Evolution or Gigantamax, temporary form changes in battle. We're going to have a regional evolution for Salandit that's going to be a poison dragon type, and all the other details we have here. Does this make you more excited for this game? The fact that this is going to be the most ambitious project the Pokemon company has ever created? The fact that we might be getting voice acting in the game? Let me know how you feel about all this down in the comments section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.